Hello everyone. I want to come on and say hi, and tell everybody about a series of videos that I'm going to be creating. I'm hoping they'll be fun and interesting and informative, mostly fun. And I'm hoping everybody will watch. The videos will focus on our local history here in Chenango County. Cool tidbits I learned while researching our local newspaper archives. Things like the first movie stars to make an appearance here in Chenango County, or at least according to the Norwich Sun. People's accomplishment from our area, and we've had a lot of accomplishments. So many people to be proud of. And I think those kind of things are important to share, especially with the young people, to encourage them. You know, just because you come from a small area, don't mean you can't do things big. And I'm also going to share information just about everyday people. I don't know if you know, but the Evening Sun and Norwich Sun used to be like their Facebook. People would call or inform them somehow about places they went, people they visited with, just their daily routines and things they wanted people to know. It's a lot of cool information. I'll also be sharing recipes from yesterday. So I think it's going to be fun, and I hope everybody will watch them, please. And thank you. Bye. Archives, Chenango County History According to News Archives. I thought I would share just a little bit of basic information in case somebody viewing this video doesn't know. Chenango County is in New York State and was founded in 1798. It has 21 towns, 8 villages, and 1 city. And from 1820 until now, our population has fluctuated from between 30,000 to 50,000. Enough of the basics, on to the news articles. I want to start with a segment I called Cool Tidbits. I was real excited when I found a Norwich Sun article dated April 30th, 1934. This article spoke of the first celebrities to visit Chenango County. The article reads, Hoot Gibson, Hollywood's greatest Western star, will appear in person at the Smalley Theater Sunday for 1 day only. This will be welcome news to the people of Chenango County, as this is the first time in history that a famous movie star will appear here in person. The article also stated that accompanying Hoot Gibson on this personal appearance tour will be another famous movie actress, Miss June Gale, who was recently featured in George White's Scandals and Moulin Rouge. Miss June Gale was chosen the Wampus Star of 1934. Having not heard of the Wampus Star Award, I tried looking it up. But all I was able to find was Wampus Baby Star Award. And according to a few sites I visited and other news articles, it was Jean Gale, sister of June Gale, who received the award. Either way, June Gale had a successful acting career. In the description of this video, I've included links to both June and Hoot Gibson's IMDb pages. On their pages, you will find pictures, biographies, and a filmography. I have also included a YouTube link for a movie featuring both Hoot Gibson and June Gale. It is called Rainbow's End. Watching the movie reminded me of watching westerns with my dad. Thanks to channels that play classic westerns, Dad and I would spend hours watching westerns, like Gunsmoke, Rifleman, Bonanza, and his favorites, Roy Rogers and Gene Autry. In the 80s, I would have preferred watching anything else, but now I cherish the memories, as I am sure those who attended this 1934 event did. And for those who may be curious how much this honor cost them, it was 10 cents for children 12 and under and 35 cents for everyone else. Chenango County Pride. As I already mentioned, I believe sharing stories of accomplished people is motivating. Fred O'Hara, a native according to his obituary of Middleville, New York, but a Chenango County businessman of 50 years, is one of those inspiring people. An article from the Norwich Sun, written by Tony Vela, I hope that's how you pronounce his name, and published on January 25th, 1952, reads, Back in the early 1900s, 20-year-old Fred O'Hara was working in a knitting mill in Utica. Like many young men, his ambition was to start a business of his own, but unlike most men, he set out to fulfill his dream. The article goes on to state that with the help of George E. Farrell, one of the founders of the Utica Knitting Mill, Fred O'Hara made his dream come true. when in 1907 he founded the Norwich Knitting Mill. The Norwich Knitting Mill was a great success. Part of its success was from a government contract to provide undergarments for our military during World War II. According to the article, after the war, the company expanded and had 2 plants in North Carolina, employing around 550 employees in both. Here in Chenango County, the Norwich plant had 700 employees. Keep in mind, this would have been around the time of the Great Depression, so that in itself was a great accomplishment. Yet, the majority of the company's success came long before World War II. It was thanks to the genius idea that Fred O'Hara had in 1931 of using Walt Disney characters on sweatshirts. According to the article, the next important phase in the company's history revolved around a character conceived in the imaginative mind of Walt Disney. In 1931, the company introduced the Mickey Mouse character sweatshirt. What followed is history. Always searching for new ideas, O'Hara had hit upon the idea of using Disney characters as decorations for sweatshirts. He signed a contract with the artist, giving the company exclusive rights to use Mickey Mouse, as well as other comic figures. Strangely enough, when the sweaters were first put on the market, they aroused little interest. As luck would have it, the owner of a small grocery chain in the Norwich area saw the possibilities. The final result of the grocer's business sense was the sale of between 4,000 and 5,000 dozens of sweatshirts before the line was discontinued. In time, the idea, of course, caught on. The great demand for the sweatshirts in the following years enabled the company to maintain its position in the industry during the country's worst depression. I'm sharing this ad for the shirts, which proved to be a successful sales gimmick. If you read the ad, you'll see that free tickets were offered for the Colonia Theater with the purchase of any Mickey Mouse shirt. We know the sales gimmick was a success because several articles were posted throughout 1932 that show the high attendance numbers, like the article I'm sharing from September 24th, 1932. This article not only shows that they had a great attendance, but it also shares the name of the grocer who purchased Fred O'Hara's shirts, which would be the Norwich Victory Markets. The article states, Mickey Mouse show scores great hit. 900 Norwich kids attend special show at Colonia Theater. Victory Chain's smashing hit Saturday was scored with some 900 children, boys and girls, with some 700 of them wearing Mickey Mouse shirts. I learned about Fred O'Hara and his Mickey Mouse sweatshirts while I interned for the Chenango County Historical Society. Jessica, the museum's director, loves Walt Disney, so she shared the information. I was excited to learn while making this video that the museum has located and shared a video showing children attending one of these theater events. I don't know if it's one I shared, but one of similar to, if not. I will include the link to that video in the description of my video. I will also include a link to the Chenango County Historical website and their physical address for those who are interested in learning more about what they have to share. And if you love learning about our county history, you will definitely want to check them out. I put this article under recipes from the past, but it is also a fit for Chenango County pride. As the article states, North Norwich woman wins endorsement of recipe. Miss Clarence Gardner Wilcox, North Norwich, New York, has just been awarded a certificate of recipe endorsement by Better Homes and Gardens for her recipe, Cousin Maria's Molasses Moons. This certificate, which brings national recognition to Miss Wilcox, is given by Better Homes and Gardens only for distinguished recipes which pass its kitchen's test for dependability, excellence of taste, and family usefulness. What a great accomplishment. And of course, I had to try the recipe. I followed it as close as I could, but instead of using a cupful of thick sour milk, I used buttermilk, which maybe that's what they intended. I got the recipe for the buttermilk off the internet, which called for 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and then wait the 5 minutes. And there was also no baking time mentioned, so I looked up similar recipes online, which recommended 7 to 13 minutes. The picture I've included are the cookies I baked. They were fairly large, so I had to use the full 13 minutes. My family loved them, but my son did recommend that I make them smaller because he wants them to be similar to ginger snaps. Really good recipe. You should give them a try. I wanted to share this article just for fun. I hope whoever was responsible didn't get into too much trouble. I must admit I was a little torn on whether to call this oh dear or LOL because I did laugh out loud after reading it. The article reads, Norwich, somebody goofed. When the truck driver employed by the city of Norwich dumped this load of gravel, the box slipped off with the load. Apparently someone had forgotten to replace the body bolt in the truck after repairs. The driver said it was a funny feeling to see both box and gravel being dumped off. No one was injured. I am by no means picking on the person responsible. Now, I think we can all relate. What is that old saying? To err is human. According to the internet, that quote is either by Alexander Pope or Cookie Monster. Our mess-ups might not have been this extreme, but we have all made mistakes. Fortunately, our oopsie moments haven't been posted in our local paper, or at least not yet. Family, friends, and neighbors, what were they up to? As I said at the beginning, Norwich Sun was kind of like Facebook for people way back when. They would notify them of where they were going, what they were doing, big events, things they felt were important. I chose this article because it included my dad, Merton Franklin. The article reads, Merton Franklin, son of Mr. and Miss Matthew Franklin, had the misfortune to fracture his leg about noon Sunday. Merton was riding a pony near Norton's Corner when the pony slipped on ice and fell, causing Merton to break his leg just above the ankle. He was taken to Dr. H.L. Wilson in Norwich, and a cast was placed on his leg, and he returned home with his parents later that afternoon. Mr. and Miss John Smith of North Versailles were Sunday callers at the home of Mr. and Miss Matthew Franklin. That was my aunt and uncle. As you can see, the article isn't just about my dad. It goes on to say Miss Hugh Bartle and daughters Carol and Lorraine called at the home of Miss Fred Beckman in Norwich Friday afternoon. Bruce Bartle spent Sunday at the home of Mr. and Miss Julian Johnson at Preston. A.J. Turner Jr. returned home Sunday evening after spending several days in Pennsylvania. Linda Ryberg of Earlville spent the Christmas vacation at the home of her grandparents, Mr. and Miss Paul Ryberg. I wanted to share articles like this because I remember my dad telling me about breaking his leg. And when I read this article, it kind of took me back to the day he told me. And he's been gone 20 years now, so it's just kind of like, you know, getting to go back to visit that time in my life. And I just think it's important to you know, for those that have lost, we can keep their memory alive. And, you know, some people might still be with us and might get a kick out of reading things that happened from their past. And I just thought it was a fun article. These kind of articles are fun. I mean, not that my dad breaking his leg was fun, but I just thought it would be fun articles to share. And there's many more. The paper had whole pages, and they would have to break them down into townships. So it was big back then. It was like like I said, it was like our Facebook. So many more of these to share, and I hope everybody enjoys them. I couldn't think of a better way to end this than using one of the newspaper's funnies. This one is from March 14th, 1967, and reads, Of course you knew whom I was referring to, Martha, and I knew that you knew, but then there was Josephine, and you know that she didn't know that I knew that you knew whom I was referring to when I referred to. As my dad would say, that is as clear as mud. I thought it was a cute, funny, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope to make many more of these videos, and I hope you will watch. Thanks for watching this one.